We have had severe impacts in the Southern Grenadines. In Union Island, we're looking at a 98% damage to buildings, similar for Myro. Union Island, about 95%. Palm Island and St. Vincent, similar, about 95% damage to the structures on those islands. You had significant storm surge inundation, especially in Palm Island and Union Island. The airports are okay in the islands, so we have now currently started our rapid needs assessment. We had a rapid needs assessment team came in yesterday through the regional response mechanism coordinated by CDMA coordinated unit, and that team went down with the Coast Guard vessel today to start that rapid needs assessment in Union Island and Myro. Yesterday we had evacuated about 300 persons from Union Island on 2 vessels, and we expect more to come up today on the Gemstar that is actually on its way back up from Union Island that took supplies. So we would have taken food supplies yesterday to Canawan, Myro and Union Island for the residents, and we continue to work with on the ground. We had persons on the ground yesterday, but they're back and forth, and we work with the police closely to look at other issues in Union Island. So the islands are devastated, and we are working with all state entities and private and public sector to support the people who have been affected in these areas, the residents who have been affected in these areas. Myro is at about 95% damage in terms of the houses. I actually got a better report of I think only about 11 houses right now that probably okay. Most of the houses, some are totally gone, and the others are damaged. So only about 11 houses that seem to be okay. We would have lost one of the shelters would have been completely destroyed in Myro, and we're getting reports also that Saltwater Bay, in terms of the environmental impact, would have been more or less split in two in terms of the environmental damage. So Myro is a significant impact in Myro, significant impact Union Island, and also Canawan. They're saying some are in the Learning Resource Center, but Learning Resource Center, there's another shelter that is there, and persons are just staying where they can. So we have already, we'll be setting up tents. We have sent down tents already that we'll be setting up for the residents in Union Island. We have a CDRU team which just arrived in St. Vincent that will be deployed to Union Island today, and being able to support that kind of activity because they are trained specially to work in those kind of environments. Immediate next steps, get more support to the Grenadines, Southern Grenadines in particular. We will have a boat coming in the morning that will be deployed straight to Union Island with supplies. That's the MV Dawn, and that's a part of the CDMA mechanism. And we are also ensuring through Commissioner that we have more security on the ground in Union Island.
And the boat is coming from where?
It's in Antigua. The actual sheltering is in Antigua, so it's coming all the way down with supplies in the morning and going straight to Union Island. On mainland, we have 1,466 persons in 64 shelters, but we expect that to increase because we are providing shelter also for persons who will be evacuated from Union Island, from the Southern Grenadines.
And where in St. Vincent is the most affected area? In terms of people moving into shelters?
We have pockets, so I don't want to say there's any one single area that is affected. We have some reports in persons in Kingston Government Shelter, we have some in Mespo, we have some, so there are different pockets on South Leeward side. So there's no one big concentration. So, but the Kingston area would have had most of the damage in terms of the Kingston and its suburbs would have had most of the damage of the roof so far. But it's still preliminary because many persons have not been able to report because of the situation with the internet and the telephone system. Those in Kingston, they're really coming to ask for things like tarpaulins because they want to cover their roofs and cots, things to sleep on. So those are the immediate needs because the assessment started yesterday. We would have started assessment yesterday but had to hold today because of the weather. So we continue to do an assessment and look at the needs of the person. So we're capturing everything. The social data is being captured from the Ministry of National Mobilization, and that will guide us also into the wider needs that they need. So persons who have been coming to me more, collecting tarpaulins, collecting cots, etc. To really get themselves back up and ready in their homes. So try to be a little more comfortable than they are.
And for those in shelters as well? For
those in shelters, well, provide the same, and we will do a food distribution today to the shelters, and I think they're pretty much covered in terms of cots, and so they have enough cots, because we added additional support in the shelters because we expect the numbers to increase.